Smosh has an entire series where they read Reddit stories and react like normal people. Obviously, the next logical step is for me to psychoanalyze them. So today we're gonna see if these Reddit users are just confused, toxic, or actually summoning demons from hell. Let us pretend I have the answers.
Why I believe orgasms shouldn't matter to men. This
is not going to be about men's orgasms.
Yeah, this is from Unpopular Opinion.
Oh, yeah.
As we know, most women cannot orgasm through normal PIV sex, penis and vagina sex. This shows that it really doesn't. This shows that it doesn't really matter and shouldn't really matter from an evolutionary or reproductive standpoint. Allow me to explain further. When it comes to men, there is an evolutionary importance to us having an orgasm. Under most normal circumstances, when a healthy man orgasms, he ejaculates and releases semen, which of course has a reproductive purpose, and that's the reason why orgasm is so easy for us men through penetrative sex. Especially me, it takes like 2 seconds. It's because...
No, you added that, right?
I added that.
Okay.
It's because it's practically necessary for us to orgasm inside of a woman in order for us to release semen inside of a woman. This is not the case for women. A woman does not need to orgasm in order to accept a man's penis, nor to accept a man's semen/sperm. Think about it. If having an orgasm for women had the same reproductive importance than it did for men, don't you think women would come far more consistently through penetrative sex? Now, if a woman is able to come regularly through normal penetrative sex, there's a minority that can. That's great for them, and I feel happy for those women. However, I honestly believe it's not men's responsibility to correct or figure out a woman's biological disadvantage in the same way that it's not women's responsibility to fix or even care about any of man's biological disadvantages, generally having higher sex drives than women. It's not women's responsibility to cure or fix that. For example, it's not a woman's responsibility to cover up her body during summertime just because a man has testosterone flowing through his veins on the verge of getting a boner. That's his problem. Just to clarify, I'm not saying because of this men should not pursue giving their women orgasms. However, what I am saying is that it's not men's responsibility, nor should men care about it because it's not men's problems.
Sir, what?
So here's the thing. This isn't about biology. This isn't about evolution. This isn't about reproductive strategy. This is about a guy who is deeply afraid he's going to be bad at sex, or maybe already got feedback he didn't like. And now he's scrambling to build a whole worldview to protect himself from that fear, that feeling of not being good enough. It's like, I'm not bad. The thing itself is pointless. Or, I didn't fail. The task was unfair. Or, it's not that I can't do it. It shouldn't matter in the first place. That's what this post sounds like. It's basically saying, if I can't make a woman orgasm through penetration, then penetration orgasms are biologically irrelevant, and it's not my fault. Now, women's pleasure can feel intimidating to men who don't have much experience or confidence because it takes communication, it takes curiosity, it takes patience. It's not as automatic as male pleasure, and there's no universal cheat code. And for someone who feels insecure, that can feel like a test they're afraid to fail. So they do the easiest thing. They declare the test invalid. The irony is he doesn't need to study natural selection, he's already living through it. The word incel originally just meant involuntary celibate, someone who couldn't find romantic connection despite wanting one. But over time the meaning changed. It became a label mostly used by men not to describe a problem they wanted to fix, but an identity they wanted to survive with. Incels don't usually start as angry. They start as lonely. They want connection, but repeated rejection creates a shame loop. They feel unwanted, then they avoid people, then they lose confidence, and that leads to more rejection and deeper shame. And eventually hopelessness feels safer than trying again. Underneath the anger is the pain of feeling invisible. That's why at the core of it, it isn't about sex. It's about losing the sense of connection and self-worth. You know, it's a response to shame and loneliness, not a personality. I actually saw a Jubilee video interviewing someone from this community, and it really humanized the topic for me. I'm gonna put the link to that video in the description, and tell me if you find that interesting. I might even make a video diving into that later. Also, a quick thing. Apparently YouTube added a hype button. If you click it, this video gets boosted, and it actually helps the channel grow way more. So if you want to support the channel, press it. Thank you.
All right, next story. Am I the asshole for telling my sister I can't attend my brother-in-law's funeral? So this is a 23-year-old woman. My sister, who's 28, her husband recently passed away in an accident. This is a shock and absolutely devastating for us. The funeral is coming up soon. I'm sure all of you know Taylor Swift is currently on tour, and tickets for that were notoriously difficult to get. I've been a fan since I was a kid. My first ever concert was her Red tour. Her music has gotten me through some of my hardest moments and also part of my best memories. It might sound dramatic to some people, which is fine, but I truly feel Taylor and her music is a massive part of my life and shaped who I am. Me and my friend managed to get tickets to the Eras tour. The funeral is the date of our show. We want to get to the stadium by 5 at the latest. It'll take about 40 to 50 minutes to get there, possibly more depending on traffic. And of course, I also have to get ready before that and have a specific outfit/costume I'm planning to wear. The funeral is in the afternoon and the timing is very close. I wouldn't be able to make it to the stadium in time. I told my sister gently, I'm sorry, but I can't make it to the funeral. She didn't take this well at all and completely went off at me, calling me selfish and a bunch of other things. I get she's grieving, so she's probably saying things without thinking, but even our parents are calling me unsupportive and selfish for not coming.
Tallman syndrome, coined by Dr. Susan Heitler. It basically describes what happens when someone grows up always getting what they want, maybe because they're bigger, stronger, richer, or simply never told no. And over time, they start to believe that rules are for other people. Whatever they want, they take. Whatever they feel, they express. And when they face consequences, they don't see it as cause and effect. They see it as unfairness. It's a mindset that might look confident, even powerful, but deep down, it's fragile. Because the person has never learned to see beyond their own perspective. Now let's take a look at this story. It's not that she's evil, it's that she's living inside a bubble where her wants define reality. In her mind, the concert isn't just a concert, it's a sacred, emotional, once-in-a-lifetime experience, something that shapes who she is. So when tragedy strikes, she experiences it not as someone's death, but as an inconvenience to her personal story. And that's basically the core of narcissism, when other people's lives, pain, or needs are treated as interruptions to your script, when your emotions are so central that you can't even recognize someone else's. A psychologically strong person would listen and consider other people's feelings, needs, and timing. But someone who has an identity around I matter more would obviously only hear herself.
How can I, a 26-year-old woman, show my husband, who's 25, I appreciate him after I said that I never would have given him a chance if I didn't have a kid and now he's feeling insecure? Okay. I overheard my husband giving his friend Rob, not his real name, relationship advice. I told Rob my husband is not the person you want to go to for relationship advice. My husband said, it helped get someone like you, and kissed me on the cheek. I told him, I was a broke single mom with a kid. I wouldn't have even looked at you if I didn't have Bunny, my son's nickname, or even some money. He asked if I was serious, and I said yes, and he walked away. I didn't think nothing of it, but he's been distant lately, not giving me compliments like he normally does. I asked him if he's upset about what I said, and he said, kinda. He said he will get over it, but he wishes he never knew. How can I show that I appreciate him? I'm thinking of asking my parents if they can watch Bunny and taking my husband on a weekend trip. Wow! Talk about a left hook that was completely unnecessary.
Left hook to the nuts.
So she basically said to her husband that our marriage was more about money and necessity than love or choice. She said this in front of his friend, and she said this in response to her husband's compliment. She even doubled down and said that yes, I was serious, I wasn't joking. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, there are two big what the fucks here. What the fuck number one? Why was she surprised that she hurt his feelings? She literally told her husband that her love for him was or is conditional. Now, someone in the comments asked, why would you say that? In what universe would that be something you'd want to tell your partner? Your relationship probably won't recover from this. OP said, I shouldn't have told him that. That being said, I think you should care more about how I feel now as opposed to when we first met. And in another comment, she said that I was 22 when I had these thoughts. I didn't say it to tear him down. It was more so his friend knows to go to someone else for advice. So she likes to think that she's looking at the issue very logically. And yet the logic doesn't quite cover the idea of what's being said. It's like she's willingly misrecognizing the impact of her words. It's not that she had those thoughts at 22. It's that her statement at 26 makes it true that she had them. And I get the sense that there's some underlying hostility between them. It feels like something that had been sitting there for a long time. Like building up, layering on itself, and now it's finally coming out like this. And the way she tries to make it sound logical or justified is by saying she only said this to help his friend. Now, what the fuck number two? Why did he barely react? This is actually the more interesting part because most people would explode or shut down or confront it immediately. But he didn't. Now, in my mind, there are two explanations for this. First, he already suspected this. Some people who enter a relationship with someone who's struggling already have a tiny fear in the back of their mind. Like, would she have chosen me if she wasn't in that situation? So maybe that's why he reacted like this, because her words didn't create the insecurity. They just confirmed one that he already had. The second explanation is that he simply doesn't know how to respond when his partner hurts his feelings. So he tries to downplay it or just retreat into silence. But this way nothing gets solved, and in time it's gonna build resentment for both sides. So, how should you respond when your partner hurts your feelings? According to Dr. Mark Travers, we have 3 healthy ways to respond when you feel triggered by your partner. Number 1, change the perspective. Before reacting, ask yourself, is what I'm feeling based on a fact or on my interpretation? And is there a less painful, more realistic way to view this? Your first thought might be, they don't care about me. But a calmer reframe could be, maybe they said that without realizing how hurtful it was. This diffuses emotional intensity and creates a space for actual conversation in order to solve a problem. But remember, don't reframe when you're spiraling, because cognitive reappraisal only works when you are calm enough to think clearly. So maybe take a shower first or go for a walk. Let the body cool down before the brain tries to reframe. Number 2, label your emotions. Before you talk to your partner, ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? Is it anger? Is it embarrassment? Is it fear, sadness, or is it all of the above? And then use I statements. I'm feeling really hurt by how that came across. I feel embarrassed because that felt personal. This way, the other person understands you without feeling attacked. Now, the last thing is what usually most people skip, which is own your reaction and stand your ground. You can acknowledge how you reacted without minimizing what hurt you. You can say something like, I know I got defensive earlier and I'm sorry for that, but I still feel hurt by what was said and I want us to talk about it. This does 3 things. It lowers your partner's defensiveness, it shows emotional maturity, and it keeps the core issue on the table. People often sabotage relationships because they panic after being hurt and immediately go into protective mode. But owning your reaction prevents that spiral.
Okay, this is from our legal advice.
Oh God.
Awesome. All right, buddy, let's do this.
Okay. I gave out my employee's contact info plus address, full name to a guest that won't stop coming and asking for her, even when she doesn't know this man. I was told she reported me to the police, but isn't that legal for me giving this man public info? This is in Georgia. I am 40s, she is 20s, and this man is 65. He comes in every day asking for her. She has told him to f off, you're not in your 20s like me, you ugly creep. He told me, and I wrote her up, which she refused to sign. She has been here 1 month, and this guy has got attracted to her, which she calls him ugly and old, and I can see the pain in him. She does not know him. He has been coming to our gas station daily for the 2 years
I'm so sorry.
She is out today and for 2 more days. He came in asking where she was, so I gave him her full name, phone, and address. He said he went to her address and rang the doorbell. He said she answered and said, be right back, grabbed some wasp spray and told him to f off and sprayed him in the eyes.
Yes.
Is that not illegal? But I wanted this guy to stop asking where she was the days she not work here. She said he can go to hell and wants him to stop hitting on her at work or she'll quit without a 2 weeks, but nothing I can do. Oh my God.
Jail.
This is genuinely terrifying because this guy actually thinks he's in the right. He literally handed the stalker everything he needed to seriously harm her. She could have died. And still, he actually thinks that he did absolutely nothing wrong and felt confident enough to make it public. I mean, the existence of people like this is exactly why some folks get paranoid about their privacy and safety. Now, I want to teach you how to not get manipulated by people like OP. There's this manipulation technique called DARVO, which stands for deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. In the first step, the manipulator refuses to take responsibility for their actions, like how OP frames a dangerous act such as giving her address to a stalker as a harmless attempt to solve a problem. By denying the real impact of their actions, they make the victim question whether they are overreacting or not. They try to rewrite reality so the victim feels like they are in the wrong. Step 2 is attacking the victim's credibility. In our story, the young woman's boundaries are subtly undermined, and instead of her feelings being validated, the boss seems frustrated with her. Suddenly, it's like she's the difficult one, and the aggressor's feelings are more important than her safety. This is how manipulators weaken confidence, by making you doubt your right to feel fear or anger. In step 3, the manipulator flips the narrative to make themselves the victim. In our story, OP identifies with the stalker, describing him as in pain, and he even almost sympathizes with him. Meanwhile, the real victim becomes secondary and her fear is dismissed. This is empathy inversion, feeling for the wrong person while the real victim suffers. Now, frequent exposure to DARVO can make anyone doubt their own emotions. You start asking yourself, am I overreacting? Maybe I'm the problem. And this can actually wear you down. Actually, the best defense against DARVO is being aware of DARVO. To counter their denial, look out for signs of denying, deflection tactics, and attempts to play the victim. To counter their attacks, present them with concrete evidence. Make it clear that you will not tolerate them discrediting your feelings, and then redirect the conversation back to the issue at hand. And to counter the blame shifting, just trust your own perceptions and refuse to engage with any behaviors that undermine your sense of truth. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.